and a huge night for your career as well.
Massive night for my career. So yeah, victorious 100%. That's my goal, that's my plan, and that's my motivation. So yeah, looking forward to it. Respect to the team. May the best man win.
Well, my thoughts on it is that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years for a guy who's had no amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12 fights? I'm not sure what he's had. And, you know, you look at the opposition he's had and people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a two-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active fighter. And this is a big moment.
The stage is set. On December 19th, Netflix will broadcast an 8-round, 3 minutes per round showdown between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, a matchup that directly tackles the criticism that Jake only takes on undersized opponents.
AJ is 6'6", 250. Even if AJ just wants to keep him on the end of a jab, look at the reach. He's got a 6-inch reach on Jake, and trust me, the Chloe concept has told me the 6 inches is more than enough, okay? So that's gonna be a problem. Again, not even talking about the fact that AJ is more dangerous with just his power, but the jab, the reach, the extent, turnover of the right hand, he's going to be able to hit Jake at range. Jake can't even hit him. 43 amateur fights, 32 pro fights. He's 28-4. He's an Olympian. He's a gold medalist. He's won the world title. Delusional, yes. Very rich, yes. It's insane.
You wanted him to face someone his size and age.
People said they wanted Jake to fight someone closer to his own size and age, and now he's stepping in with a 2-time world champion. The bout follows full professional rules. Joshua has to weigh in under 245 pounds, which is notable since he's recently been coming in above 250. Both fighters will be using standard 10-ounce gloves.
If Anthony Joshua wants to turn up and just make it look like an exhibition, I don't know what that helps Anthony Joshua do besides get a big paycheck. If that's all he needs and that's all he wants, given the fact that he's been demolished by Daniel Dubois in his most recent fight, I thought Anthony was built of sterner stuff than that.
But many people just want to see Joshua back in the ring, Simon. But they want to see him fight again.
Well, they want to see, no, they don't. They want to see him fight a legitimate fighter. They want to see if Anthony Joshua is now done. They want to see if Anthony Joshua being destroyed by Daniel Dubois is the end of the golden boy journey that apparently rebooted British boxing.
This isn't some publicity stunt. It's a real, dangerous heavyweight showdown packaged as a massive event. Save the date. The first press conference happens live on November 21st, and the tension is already building. Joshua will be facing a legitimate weight cut, and he'll need to pull it off without sacrificing his power or timing.
To me, it shows me his desire. Pick up 50 million along the way. Nobody can knock him for this. This is now business. This is business. For Jake Paul, absolutely crazy. Jake Paul is a domestic level professional fighter here in the UK. Would he win a British title? No, I don't think so.
Jake, meanwhile, has to bridge the massive experience gap and deal with the size difference, making every tweak in training more crucial than ever. This fight isn't about cash or clout, it's a strategic battle wrapped in knockout potential, and we're seeing the very first moves unfold. What's wild is how divided the reactions are. Some fans are backing Jake hard, calling him the new symbol of fearless matchmaking. They're applauding him for stepping straight into danger against a heavyweight powerhouse like Joshua and saying this is the kind of unpredictable excitement boxing has been missing for a long time.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight, and it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
Meanwhile, the other half of the internet is looking at this matchup like Jake.
On the flip side, plenty of people online think Jake has completely lost it. They're basically asking, who wakes up in the morning, grabs a cup of coffee, and decides, yeah, I'm going to fight a 6 feet 6 inches former unified heavyweight champion today. Realistically, you don't choose to stand across from Anthony Joshua unless you're unbelievably brave, or operating on a different planet. But that exact mix of respect and disbelief, courage and chaos, is what makes this matchup impossible to ignore. It's why everyone is locked in, debating it in barbershops, arguing in comments, And refreshing their timelines like this is the season finale of the entire sport.
Don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know. But I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point, and he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Do you think it's competitive? A lot of people are saying if AJ doesn't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it'll be a huge embarrassment.
I don't think that's not the case, that he's gonna get Jake Paul. At the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training hard too, and you know, he's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he would take him out in 2.
And just when it seemed like analysts couldn't get any more stunned, David Haye walks in with an attitude sharp enough to slice through one of Joshua's heavy bags. The look on his face made it seem like someone had just told him Jake Paul decided to fight a runaway freight train. He's practically double-checking that the matchup is real, not a joke, not a staged bit, and honestly, most of us are doing the same. AJ is training like a guy who cranked the difficulty level to brutal just because he was bored, while Jake is out here trying to prove he belongs in the chaos of the heavyweight world. And Haye didn't sugarcoat anything, he said exactly what everyone else was thinking.
Derek said yesterday that he could see Jake leaving in an ambulance. Do you think it's that dangerous of a fight for Jake?
I think this fight, if you get knocked out, you know, there's one thing, Ngannou getting knocked out with one shot, he's a big man. You know, when you get hit by someone like Anthony Joshua, it's gonna put you out, and if you get put out, likelihood is you might need to go to the hospital to get a brain scan. Hopefully this isn't the case. You know, he's not gonna be dehydrated because it's a heavyweight. I think it'd be more of a quick explosion.
He basically said that even Jake's cleanest shot would hit Joshua with about as much effect as a pebble bouncing off a tank, while one of AJ's counters could have Jake pulling up directions to the nearest hospital. But the crazy part is that Haye still gives Jake respect, because choosing to fight Joshua is like skipping every normal ride at an amusement park and saying, "No, strap me into the one that hangs upside down above the shark tank." It's part courage, part calculation, part delusion, part promotion, maybe all of the above. And whether you think Jake is a fearless risk-taker or a guy trying to create the biggest plot twist of 2024, Haye's point is the same. Joshua has nothing to lose, Jake is putting everything on the line, and we're all tuning in for a matchup no one saw coming but everyone wants to witness.
It's a no-win situation. There's nothing he's done in any of his previous fights where you can say, well, if he does this, that's going to work against Anthony Joshua. I think Jake Paul's best shot bounces off Anthony Joshua, and I think the opposite isn't the case. I think AJ gets him out of there very comfortably, and he'll get paid probably one of his highest paychecks ever. So it's I think it's a no-lose situation for Anthony Joshua. It's an easy night's work for a lot of pros.
Picking up right after David Haye's blunt assessment, Gareth A. Davies delivers his take with zero warmth. He frames this as a straightforward payday for Joshua, not some grand attempt at repairing his legacy. The rules are locked in: 8 3-minute rounds, 10-ounce gloves, and Joshua must weigh in under 245 pounds, which officially makes it a sanctioned heavyweight fight. That's important, because it eliminates the just an exhibition excuse and puts real expectations on AJ to get the job done. Davies' harshest point? If Joshua doesn't stop Jake quickly, like inside the first 2 rounds, his reputation takes a hit big enough to light up an arena scoreboard. And he's not wrong. The optics are unforgiving. If AJ blasts through Jake, he walks away with a big check and a bump in US visibility. But if he fails to put Jake away convincingly, social media will blow up instantly. Yeah, the commissions and the purists aren't thrilled, but money speaks louder than tradition, and this matchup is yelling it. At the end of the day, the fight is high reward with a massive, glaring downside. Joshua steps into that ring with millions watching, not just for the knockout, but to see how long the clock runs before he delivers it.
It is 10-ounce gloves, it is a boxing match, it's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns $70 million US.
Now switching over to Chris Mannix, He actually gives Jake a level of respect you can't manufacture. He points out that Jake went from cutting down to 135 pounds for a potential exhibition to suddenly gearing up as a cruiserweight turned heavyweight in a matter of weeks. New sparring partners and a completely overhauled camp in Puerto Rico, the whole deal. Mannix reminds everyone that Jake isn't just some internet joke. He's handled massive event pressure before, fighting in front of crowds and audiences north of 125 million. And when his right hand lands clean, it means something. But Mannix doesn't sugarcoat reality either. He calls it what it is, a long shot scenario where a miracle punch could happen, but probably won't. A once-in-a-blue-moon knockout is possible, just not something you'd bet the house on. And that's the raw truth we're all tuning in for. Joshua needs to dominate early to shut down doubt and protect his legacy. Jake needs immaculate timing, a perfect strategy, and that one picture-perfect shot to pull off a result no one expects. You, me, everybody, we're locked in because this matchup balances showmanship with genuine tactical danger. Expect drama, expect debates, and expect this fight to be talked about long after the last punch lands.
There's a bit of a cat and mouse game in the first round. Jake could get knocked down in the first round and get up. Second round gets obliterated in the same way that Francis Ngannou gets obliterated. Enormous credit to Jake Paul for this, who is putting together the most unique box rec in professional boxing history. Nate Diaz is on his box rec. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is on his box rec. Mike Tyson is on his box rec. And come December 19th, Anthony Joshua is going to be on his box rec.
And Anderson Silva, remember?
Anderson Silva, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Ridiculous.
And jumping straight from the stopwatch tension Gareth A. Davies talked about and the long shot vibe Chris Mannix highlighted, we dive headfirst into Derek Chisora's world. This guy storms into the conversation like someone handed him a microphone and a spark at the same time. He hears AJ versus Jake Paul and doesn't flinch. He speaks like he's already imagined the fight as a first-round fireworks display. While the rest of us are breaking down strategy, legacy, and the finer points of technique, Chisora is all about the spectacle. He wants chaos, carnage, and someone leaving with an insurance claim, and he praises Jake in a way that makes it seem like Paul literally summoned this fight into existence just by writing it down. Then Chisora flips the tone and essentially warns Joshua, if this drags past 5 rounds, the internet will roast him mercilessly. And honestly, he's right. The entire boxing timeline will be watching to see if AJ can survive a drawn-out war. When he jokes that Joshua could knock Jake out just by breathing on him, it's clear he's supremely confident. The man has no doubt in his prediction.
It's not a game because I want to see some blood. I want to see somebody's teeth falling out. So I told Anthony, I already messaged Anthony as I listen. I tell you what, I say to AJ, if this goes past 5 rounds, everybody's gonna be having a go at you because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, you know, people are gonna be doubting you as a fighter himself. So he has to smoke him out like what he did Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia in 1 round.
Chisora's already acting like he's booking a front row seat to a spectacle rather than a standard fight, Miami-bound as if he's about to witness a public spectacle instead of a boxing match. And the wild thing? As over-the-top as he sounds, he's voicing what a huge part of the boxing world is thinking, the thoughts nobody dares tweet after 9 p.m. So buckle up. Gareth laid out the stakes, Mannix broke down the numbers, and Chisora just gave us the raw, unfiltered, no-holds-barred version of what this fight feels like, and it's incredible. Here's the takeaway, this isn't just a fight, it's a full-blown cultural event. It's what happens when boxing, celebrity, danger, and utter chaos collide in one ring. Joshua is stepping in for pride, reputation, and dominance. Jake Paul is stepping in for respect, survival, and the ultimate I told you so moment. And the rest of us? We're strapped in, popcorn in hand, watching 2 very different worlds slam into each other under the brightest lights imaginable. No matter who you're rooting for or how you think it ends, one thing is certain, December 19th is going to keep the boxing world talking for months.
I'm happy. I'm so happy for AJ because he's doing this for himself. And you have to understand, you have to give so much respect to Jake Paul. You know, whatever he says, he makes it happen. You know, before he was like he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, and people were laughing at him, and then suddenly it's happened, and people are like, wow, what's going on here? You know, so kudos to that kid, man. He's very good at promoting everything he does.
Now it's your turn. Head to the comments and tell us what you think. Is Jake Paul changing the sport, or is he biting off more than he can chew? Is AJ on a mission, or just going through the motions? Who leaves the ring on top, and who gets exposed? And when that final bell rings, what's the real story? Don't forget to like and share this breakdown and subscribe for more boxing insights.